So in this video, I want to discuss taking derivatives of exponential and logarithmic functions. So for these, they're very similar to trig functions. They're sort of a special formulas to do them, and we're going to discuss the two special formulas, and then we'll do some examples. So let's say we have a function f of x is equal to a to the x, some constant a to the x, and we want to take f prime of x. So for this, we cannot use the power rule. We have to actually, due to some chain rule issues, we have to use this specific formula where f prime of x is equal to the natural log of a times a to the x. So any format of an exponential function that looks like that, we use this specific formula. So let's do a very famous example here. And this is a derivative that you're always going to remember. And I'll show you why right now. So let's say we have g of x is equal to e to the x. So e is just some constant, right, to the x. So let's use the formula. G prime of x is equal to the natural log of, well, a is e, right? So the natural log of e times e to the x. Well, what's the natural log of e? The natural log of e is just 1. So this is just 1 times e to the x, which is just e to the x. And this is actually the only function in math where the derivative of the function is itself. So the derivative of e to the x is e to the x. So this is actually really cool. And that's why you're going to always remember this. And this is very useful for a lot of applications. All right, now let's talk about taking derivative of a logarithmic function. So let's say we have f of x is equal to log a base a of x. Well, if we want to find the derivative, the formula is this. It's pretty symmetric. It's 1 over the natural log of a times x on the bottom now. So let's do an example. We'll say g of x in this case is the natural log of x. And also this is a very famous derivative. There's a lot of symmetry that goes on here. So let's say we have g of x is the natural log of x, which in this case we can rewrite as log e of x, right? The natural log of x is defined to be the log base e of x. Now let's take the derivative. G prime of x, we can use our formula. We get 1 over the natural log of e times x. Well, again, the natural log of e is just 1, so g prime of x is equal to just 1 over x. And this is also very well known. Everyone that has studied derivatives knows that the derivative of the natural log of x is just 1 over x. All right, talk to you guys in the next video.